the City Planning, Development and Sustainability Coordinator of Baguio City in the Philippines. And we have just actually updated our city vision. It says Baguio 2043, a livable, inclusive and creative city. So that's our biggest transformation that's going to happen until 2043. The year comes from a study in 2019 about urban carrying capacity. So it talks about the different aspects of the environment which we have reached already, like our forests, our green spaces, land for development. And it says there, if we don't fix these problems, by 2043 we'll get into irreversible urban decay. And that's the reason why we crafted this new city vision in such a way that instead of irreversible urban decay, we'll get into a city that's livable, inclusive and creative. Now we're currently doing a lot of public conversations. That's because this city vision has to be a vision by all. And the most important thing is that we go to the different communities, the different community leaders, and make them understand why this vision was crafted, because this was done with stakeholders. And it's time to download it to the residents themselves so that one gets to understand what it's all about, why there is a 2043 mission. Because development will not just happen with the local government, it has to be by all. It has to be co-designed and implemented by everyone. They accept it, and they say that it's been a long time coming. Yes, whenever we talk about the carrying capacity study, they get surprised that indeed that's the current state of the city already. And I think it takes everyone to get to understand, because well, they are just busy doing their everyday lives, and sometimes problems such as forest cover is something that doesn't impact them, they think, but it does. You know, these are our life support systems. That's how we explain it to them, that these are essentials to urban living. And that's the mission for right now, that to make sure that everyone gets to understand this vision, which they accept so far. That's something that's most important, because from the national government, they require us to do budgets and planning with a gender perspective to it. But it has to be more than that. It has to be deeply embedded in everything that we do. And when we talk of smart city systems, then we should make sure that people get to understand they're still part of that system, that whatever vision that system has, they are part and parcel of it. And sometimes we are taking off from this traditional form of planning, where you see it's just the local government thinking for all. But we have to make sure that the minorities, the vulnerable sector are included in the planning. And that's the reason why we have to make sure to mainstream gender and development into city plans, and most especially our smart city vision. Well, if we talk of smart cities, most especially for the people at the low, at the communities, they wouldn't understand what it is. And that's the biggest challenge, actually, to get them to understand that this is where we're going right now. A smart city is something that might make their lives easier, a bit towards that quality of life that everyone's aiming for. And sometimes that's another challenge, how they would understand their role into that big system. So that's one thing that cities need to work into, that people need to understand what's the goal, what's the vision, what are the strategies that's being done, because once they get to understand, I think that's the best thing possible for any city that's wishing to transform. Right now we're developing our net zero vision. And that's one of the difficulties also, because our national government has set the NDC. And if we look at our own context in the city, it's something that we couldn't do with a 2030 deadline. So what we're trying to do is to go to the communities and start talking about it, so that we know how much can we do at a given specific time period. Other discussions are on circular economy, and it's something that requires a behavior change, and that's sometimes is too much to ask for in a short time period. So a lot of conversation has to happen before we can really get into the attainment of these goals, these strategies, because it changes lives. Well, I learned a lot during these discussions just this morning, and it takes conversations like this to get to see our own context and get inspired by other cities also. And I think my message is get inspired. We learn from our peers, and conversations like this that happen not on a daily basis but are very useful to rethinking and replanning how things should be done based from the experience of others. You see, there's a lot of testing that happens in the city, and we cannot afford that. And learning from the experiences of others is something that it separates us from too much of the unknown and puts us more of the knowns in city planning.